Good morning, everybody. It's part 3 of Diesel Daily, and I'm still waiting on parts. Unfortunately, the rollers, which I ordered 2-day express, they refunded me the money for that and put them regular postal service, so they're still not here yet. So the engine is still completely apart. However, the fender has arrived, so we've done a quick little DA sand 400 grit to get this garbage primer that they put on them roughed up, and we're just going to spray this and get it ready. I'm expecting the rollers by the end of today, so hopefully this will be fully painted by the time the rollers arrive, and then I can move on while this is drying. So we're about to do primer now and get it hung. We have an interesting little plan here because I didn't want to take the Jeep down off the lift. I can't start it with it all apart. So we have our pole there, our pole saw for our trees stuck in the receiver hitch and up on the door. We're gonna hang the fender here, cover up as much stuff around as we can to deal with overspray. I have this little barrier, that's the box the fender came in, and we're on a fan outside. It's -3 outside right now, so we can't leave the door open for long while we're painting, and the heat has to kind of stay on. So anyway, more gunk came out over the past couple of days. It's a pretty decent amount of oily whatever in the coolant, which is a bummer. Makes me a little nervous. But I'm just going to watch it. I'm not going to tear into this thing further and assume like an oil cooler is bad or whatever, because I think if it was bad, there would have been a lot more. It would have been, cycled throughout the coolant and so on. And I know recently no mechanics have worked on the coolant system. I mean, we know it had the new radiator hoses in it, but that wasn't recent, and she had driven it many miles with those. So fingers crossed that's just a weird fluke and some of the old coolant congealed, but that's probably hopeful thinking. Point being, we're gonna try it. If it has to come apart again in the future for oil coolers, so what? So for now, I'm gonna clean that off, get some adhesion promoter on it, get it primed, let it flash, get it painted, and hopefully by then I'll have a notice saying that my rollers have come in. So on we go. All right, the fender is primed, and we're now venting the garage, so it's always nice to heat the atmosphere. I don't know if you guys can see the overspray coming out of there, kinda. Plenty. But we work in the facilities we have. So there's the fender hanging. And all this overspray comes right off, so nobody panic. But just gonna have to give the Jeep a good wash when we're done. Heat's on, and the smoke, the paint is evacuating. Update, the door mirror is on. Didn't film that, it's kind of boring. The fender is primed fully and ready for sanding. My rollers for the serpentine belt, I get lucky with some parts from Rock Auto. These ones, not so much. They're delayed, maybe in the air, we don't know. Tracking still says they're going to be here today. Called the post office. There's no way they're coming today. They're not even in the state. So I can move on to sand the fender, but Dad doesn't want to paint today. He's got some projects like this that he wants to work on, so he doesn't want to clog this room up with paint. So I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. Hopefully those items will be here tomorrow. I have to work the day after that. But I have some other projects to do outside, so I'll move on to that. But we'll pick this up when we get more parts. Just waiting on parts. Thanks. Okay, we're back. The fender is painted. Thanks to Dad for that. Not bad for a garage paint job. Should match pretty nice. The pulleys finally arrived. Finally. I should state the ones that were coming in the mail did not arrive. I found these somewhere else. I was just done waiting. It's been over a week. We can finally put this mess back together. We have so many things disconnected. I need to try and remember how it all goes. Well, you know, we'll get there, but what a pain. Just some of the stuff we've been waiting for and dealing with has just been driving me nuts. So I need to make sure I put all of the bolts back in the correct spot. They're pretty much laid out in a way that the part they go with, you know, they're on there. Hopefully, like I said, I'll just remember as I start to get into it. But step one is going to be putting these pulleys on and getting the belt on. So on we go. Well, for once I can say something was easy. Belt is on, new pulleys, 1 and 2. So everything's back together there with our new water pump. So this whole process was just for that. Now, intake pipe goes back on, which is this disaster over here. That includes the EGR tube, which I do need to clean real quick. You can see this mess. There's a bunch of other people that have showed how to clean these. This one's really not that bad comparatively. So I'll give that a little clean and get back with you guys when this is all installed. It's not going half bad so far. Okay, pipe is on. That's your intake pipe. So it goes from the output side of the intercooler into the engine. So that's on. That was the hardest part of the whole job, if I remember correctly. Now it's just remembering where everything goes. It was hard to get back on. EGR tube is pushed onto an O-ring. It's bolted to the bottom here. You have to have those loose to push that on. These 3 hold it on. You have to remember these tie downs right there for the wiring harness. I need to pop some sensors back in right here. They're just dangling. The boost pipe was actually easy to hook up, so that's great. I like these style snap ring, O-ring, turbo clamps, I guess you could call them. I already hooked up one sensor in the back here, but get the rest of the sensors plugged in and we'll keep on chugging along. On we go. All right, we're making progress. It is a pain. I had a real struggle with the muffler here, the turbo silencer. It wouldn't go in the clip for the other side there. Let me get my light. It just would not clip on right down there. See that clip? What a pain. So I finally got that in. You can see how this blocks everything. That's the tensioner pulley back there. Got everything connected, pipes in place, upper radiator hoses in place. I'm putting the glow plug controller back on now, which is this bracket here and these plugs. Once those are back in, I can reinstall the airbox, flip down this bracket, and then fill it with coolant. So not taking as long as it took to take it apart, but still it's being a real struggle. All right, guys, update. We are fully back together. Everything is hooked up with the exception of the airbox, just because I need to do the light. And it's just going to be way easier without the airbox in the way. And before I do the light, I'm going to take this crease out of here. It shouldn't be too bad. Heat gun, and we'll pull that out. But anyway, I think we can be fully back together today as long as this cooling system works out. So I've already put some coolant in. It's taken 1.5 gallons so far. I haven't run it yet. So we're going to pull it backwards, get it up to temp, and see about bleeding the system. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we did everything right. I'm probably more nervous than I should be. I didn't really change anything, just put it all back together in the same way. It's just really hard to put together. I'm disappointed in Mercedes for this mess. But at the core of this, it's still a good engine, it drives really nice. So it's like a weird feeling in my gut, like, do I love it or hate it? But anyway, we're about to bleed it. All right, let's fire her up. much quieter. It's taking coolant, so that's good. I realized what I forgot to do, and that is because I have the air box unhooked, I had the cover just sitting there, but I totally forgot the mass airflow sensor is not plugged in. So let's just tap that on. Hopefully it'll make the idle work a little better. I was wondering why it was going so low with that idle. We'll just kind of jam this in here, and then it will be fine. There we go. Perfect. Now it's going to be sucking through the sensor. Hook the battery back up, so everything should be happy. Now we wait. Gotta wait for the thermostat to open, see if it takes any more coolant. I only brought the 2 gallons. I have the old coolant, but it's pink, and this new stuff's like a yellow color. It is the correct coolant, or it's approved, it's just not the same color. So, not really taking any more right now, so I think we just need to wait for it to warm up. Well guys, patience never was one of my strong suits, but so far I think we're okay. I'm pretty sure the thermostat still hasn't opened though, and it might take a really long time for that to happen. So we just gotta keep waiting. I'm gonna let you guys go and bring you back when it's hot. Well, I'm trying to get this thing to heat up, and that's about where we're at. It's been 25-30 minutes of running. I've even taken to the heat gun, which I was using to do the bumper, and I was holding it in front of the radiator. So, as far as I can tell, there's still a ton of air in the system. There's like a trickle of warmth in the upper rad hose, so I don't think we're going to be able to really truly bleed this thing until we get it out on the open road. I worked on this with the heat gun. It's a lot more straight than it was. It's still not perfect, but it might be good enough for it to clip in. I am gonna, paint these and stuff before we jam the fender on there, and that's definitely gonna have to be worked out a little more, I think. But we're gonna let it run for another 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'll get moving on the fender. On we go. All right, we're continuing on. I've run it. I'm convinced that everything seems to be working temperature-wise. I do think the thermostat opened at the last minute, so that's fine. Got some fluff on my face. Time to put the air box in, followed by the headlight, followed by the fender. So I think that's what we're gonna do next. Shouldn't take too long, so I think I'll throw you guys on time lapse so you can watch that part. And on we go. see if that light works. Looks good. Awesome. Set her down into place here. Kind of hard not to smash wires. There it is. Well, would you look at that, guys? It's back together. It's no showpiece. I definitely have to do some work down here. We had 2 bolts at the bottom that are spinning. Captive nuts are spinning because of rust. So when we get it up on the lift again, we'll mess with that gap and do some yanking on it and probably tack weld the bottom of the fender into place. But I got the majority of the liner back in the way I wanted. I need 2 more push rivets here that I'm missing. They broke when it came out. See, there's one, that little washer. So anyway, this is okay considering how creased this was. I'm pretty happy with that gap. And just this little hood damage here, I'm not going to worry about. We're going to touch up paint that and it's going to be good enough. This is a driver, guys. I'm not trying to make a show vehicle, but it looks like a complete Jeep again. Obviously, I need to clean this headlight because it looks absolutely ridiculous next to that one. But it's back together. So, I mean, we can test drive pretty soon, and we're essentially done. I think what I'm going to do now is throw it up and just get a better look at my fender situation down there so I can play it over in my brain what the plan's going to be. The only thing really holding that fender in place down the bottom right now is this one push rivet, which is just tied to this rocker cover. So there's really nothing holding that. So we'll have to get into there and make that better. But anyway, guys, we did it. It's a Jeep again. Awesome. So I want to show you guys what we're talking about down here. There was no point right now, today, in fixing this rust, so we just booger welded the fender, which is incredibly thin, so just tab welded it as gently as we could onto the existing bolts, which are spinning in the rocker. And you can see we did find rust. There's a hole there, okay? So this is a temporary solution. Really, that rocker needs to be cut out and repaired, and I'm not into that right now. Until we do some more driving of this rig, I want to understand if I like it. I want to understand how much more effort I want to put into it. But we are at the point now where we can take it down off the lift. The only thing I need is 2 push rivets, so I'll run downtown and grab those, and we can take it for a test drive. So coming next, test driving the Jeep. Thanks as always for watching, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.